which is nuts to say. And it's now, this isn't over a small amount of time now. We're how many games? 10 games without a win? And we're now in 2026 where we've been consistently the worst, not just 18th or 19th or one of the worst, the worst team in the league for the last 10 games at the very least. It is absolutely shambolic, and there is no sign of it getting better at the moment. There is no sign. It's all easy to say, one win. I've been saying this, one win, momentum can switch, and you can, all of a sudden, positivity can flow through the camp and all that kind of stuff. Reality is, where is that win coming from? When are we going to get this win?
I can't see it.
When is it?
I've been sitting here and saying all week, we'll beat Palace. Palace are terrible. But we're worse than Palace right now. We're a hell of a lot worse than Palace right now.
If we had Wolves at home on Thursday, I wouldn't say we would win that game.
Of course not. Wolves just went and beat Aston Villa.
I couldn't sit here comfortably and say, yeah, we definitely win.
People called us deluded because in our predictions, we didn't have us winning against Wolves. How was that deluded? Like, Wolves, we put a draw. That's probably being kind to Spurs.
We said we're going to get 2 wins in our last 11 games, and I'm looking at thinking, why did we say 2?
In 2 of our next 3 games, we have got Crystal Palace at home and Nottingham Forest at home. I'm telling you, and we got Liverpool away in between. Liverpool game, all right, we know we're going to lose, but those 2 games, like, if we come out of the next 3 games with 0 points, we will be in the relegation zone, in my opinion, or we'll be at least 1 point above it, around about that mark.
In terms of Eagle Tudor, did you see his post-match press conference?
I saw bits of it, yeah.
He seems to be on the brink of having his own Conte moment. I don't know if you saw there were moments where he said they need to have serious conversations with themselves. These players need to look at themselves in the mirror. We need more personality. We need more voices. He says, they don't have the quality to go forward and make the difference. They don't have the mentality to suffer and make sure they don't concede the goal. They don't have the runners in the middle to make sure they're not getting opened up. He said he quote, an amazing situation. And he seemed to be on the brink of just like, already, it's been 2 games. It's been 2 weeks, and he seems to be already at the end of his tether, it seems, with this team and these players. Now, for me, I think if we don't win any of our next 3, I do think he'll be sacked.
Yeah.
I don't think he will. I don't know. I didn't know Tudor was going to come in. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm telling you, this club do not care about him or anything. They just want to stay up. And if he's not going to do it, they will find someone who will. His remit is come in, make an instant impact, and make sure you're keeping this side in the division. If he is getting no wins, and especially if he's getting no points against the likes of Palace and Forest, having already lost the first 2, this club I don't think will hang around. They knew they stuck with Frank for too long, and now we're in this situation. I'm not sitting here saying it's the right thing that they should sack him or it's going to help us and that's going to keep us up. I am saying I am certain that if this continues, this club will panic again and push that button again.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. I think they probably will do that. And if we lose to Crystal Palace on Thursday, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes after that game.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I think, when's the international break?
The international break...
After Liverpool.
Was
it before that?
No, because after Liverpool, I think... Is there an FA Cup break? Let me just check.
So it's Palace, then FA Cup break on the weekend.
The international break is after Atletico... no, it's after Palace.
No, that's FA Cup.
Oh, that's FA Cup. Yeah,
Palace?
It's after Liverpool.
So how many
No,
games?
after Forest.
After Forest, is it? So how many games have we got between then and is that 5 games, including the Atletico, 2 Atletico games?
Yeah.
I think
Liverpool, Palace, 2 Atletico games.
Okay, if we don't win any of those games, I'm sitting here with almost 100% certainty he's going to be sacked.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet against it. I really wouldn't.
I don't think this is a case of give him time. This is not like he
doesn't have time.
Exactly.
He doesn't have time.
He's here for 6 months.
Yeah.
No, not even, sorry. He's here for 3 months. And if he ain't going to get the job done, they'll find someone who will. That's it. And I saw...
I guarantee you it's going to be Harry Redknapp.
I don't know who it will be. It might well be. He's put his hat in the ring, hasn't he? I've seen, like... I was having this discussion in the group chat yesterday, and Brayden's had no chance. They sack him. You know, they're going to look like such idiots and blah, blah, blah.
They look like such idiots
exactly.
Anyway.
My point being is I think all of those reasons of how they look, it pales in comparison to the threat of Tottenham going down. That is the number one scenario which they can't envisage. They can't allow us to go down. Mm-hmm. They can't allow us to get relegated. So it doesn't matter how stupid they look or whatever happens. If they think they're making a decision to try and keep us in the league, they will do it. And if Tudor can't get any better than what we saw on Sunday, and we keep seeing this for the next 2-3 games, they will sack him. And it's crazy to think about that we've let Frank go all this season until it got so bad that he had to go, and now we're bringing a firefighter and talk about maybe sacking him after maybe 3 or 4 games. But I do think that is reality. I don't think Tudor's here with any trust or anything. He's here with one job: keep us up.
Definite reality. I genuinely believe it could come after the Palace game, because Palace, they would have looked at that Palace game being like, this has to be 3 points. If this is not 3 points, then bloody hell, like, what are we doing here?
If we lose badly, then I think
if we lose in general, any loss, I think it could very well happen. But yeah, more than likely probably will happen in that international break, because that's when it usually does happen. But
and then after the international break, how many league games we'll have left? 7, because it'll be Forest, so 7. So it gives us those 7 games just to have a clear run, and you've got 2 weeks to find someone. I think could very easily happen, and it's mad to think about. We're sitting here 2 games into Tudor's tenure and about that possibility. Don't get me wrong, there's not been any rumours or anything apart from Indicillia and all these whatever like useless reports. But I'm just saying, looking at this board and how they overruled V9 Lange because they were panicking about relegation when the decision should have been made ages ago. I wouldn't be surprised if they panic again, because I don't think they wanted Tudor in the first place. They just thought they need someone, and they brought him in. And obviously, we all know we brought him in the interim, so we wait for Pochettino. This isn't a guy they've brought in because they believe in him. They just think he's just a body to put in to get us over the line, and then we get rid of him in the summer. Yeah. And if he can't get us over the line, they will get rid.
Yeah. And look, the reality is, Tudor's tactics have been horrific so far. Really bad. Like the last 2 games, tactically, I think we've been all over the place, particularly in the Fulham game. Like, wow. After the Arsenal game, I didn't think it could get worse, but it has. Like, yesterday was way worse than Arsenal, in my opinion, in terms of the way we were set up and the effort levels that we saw on the pitch. But for me, I'm more angry at the players. Like, these players, like I said before about sticking up with them all season, saying they could be in the top 8, top 7, they should be with the quality that they have. And I still stand by that. With the squad that we have, particularly without injuries, we should be in the top 7. However, this manager has come in. They should know full well the situation that we're in. And the effort levels that I'm seeing on the football pitch, it's disgusting, the way that they're handling themselves on the pitch. Like, you would think, like, even without a manager, they can get together as a group and say, you know what, no matter what happens in the summer, who's playing where, let's fight for the cause, let's fight for ourselves, let's get the club out of this mess from now until the end of the season. But in fact, like I said before, it's just players hiding behind each other. Our top players are not standing up, they're laying down. The whole thing is just a mess, and these players, each and every one of them, are completely embarrassing. They really are. They don't have the bottle, they don't have the spirit, they don't have the fight to get us out of this. And they're not having Tudor. They're not having Tudor from the moment he walked in there. He probably walked in there and told them a few home truths of how they've been doing this season. They don't want to hear it. They're saying, I'm better than this situation. Well, if you're better than this situation, show us on the pitch that you're better than this situation and get us out of the club. And if you want to go in the summer, then be on your merry way. I don't really care right now. But get us out of this situation, because you've put us in this situation right now.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised. I think Tudor's already on the brink of exploding in a press conference. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't win in the next 2 to 3 games. He does have the Conte moment, and then he's gone after it. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever, because I think that's where it's heading at the moment already. I think Tudor already is showing signs of losing his rag with these players. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. People are saying it's been 2 games, calm down. I don't think it'll be the right thing to get rid of him. If you've gone with him, you might as well stick with him.
I don't get these people that are saying calm down. There is no time for being calm right now. We're in the brink of a relegation battle. We're getting worse and worse every week. The teams that are around us are playing better than us. Yes, fine. We got lucky and they all lost this week, but some of them played actually a good game of football and could have picked up points. In fact, we shouldn't be looking at it like this weekend saying, oh, the rest of the teams lost, we're actually lucky. It's a missed opportunity. It's a massive missed opportunity this weekend that we didn't have anything about us to go and do anything at Fulham. Like, we're not talking about playing bloody Man City or Liverpool or Prime. We're talking about playing Fulham. And I know Craven Cottage is a hard place to go, but if you go and put yourself about and show some effort and desire, that gives you the chance of getting any sort of points there. But we're laying down week in, week out. And if we do the same on Thursday, we'll lose yet again. And it will keep going until these players get their head out their own arses and actually start putting in some effort on the pitch. That's what it all comes down to.
If you're not going to panic now, when are you going to panic? Now should be panic stations, DEFCON 1. This is the lowest of the low. If someone says, why would you even sack him? Who's going to come in? I'm not saying it's the right thing. I'm not saying they should sack him. I'm saying I can tell. I know where this board is going to do. I can tell what this board is going to do. And if it looks like Tudor can't turn it around immediately, they will go and find someone who they think can. I'm not saying that person exists. And that decision might send us down. Sacking Tudor might send us down. Or
Keeping Tudor might keep us down. Anything might.
I know exactly, but that's my point. If they're gonna keep him or not, I think our decision has its own risks. If we keep playing like this, that's for sure. And I'm telling you, if Tudor can't get a tune out of these players, they will get rid of him. I'm not saying that's a good decision. It'll probably be a bad decision because if he's come in, you need to give him a few games or whatever. But they won't do it. I'm telling you, if he can't get a tune out of these players in the media,
how long did Stellini get?
What, 3 games?
3 games he got.
3 games he got. One of them was being 5-0 down after 20 minutes. That was the final game. I remember those 3 games. We were so bad in all of them. It was incredible. I think it was we drew to Everton, who had 10 men, and we conceded. I remember there was this Brighton game, which was probably the luckiest win I've ever seen in my life. I remember Brighton should have had like 5 penalties, and we got lucky. And then there was the Newcastle game where we were 5-0 down after 20 minutes.
I know we were 5-0 down after 20 minutes, and obviously that was one of the worst games I can ever remember. But this ain't close. This is pretty close to it. These 2 games, 4-1 against Arsenal at home, and a 2-1 loss against Fulham, which it could have easily been 5 or 6-1.
Well, Steve got 4 points at least.
Yeah,
he was still sacked.
So
yeah, I don't think this board will be shy about sacking him if they think it will keep us up. So I think the managers are relevant at this point. Like, you need players to stand up for the cause, and none of them are doing it. And if the players are putting in this effort levels, it doesn't matter who the manager is. We're going to lose every game. Mm-hmm. So you can bring in Pep Guardiola for all I care, but if the players are showing this attitude on the football pitch, you're still going to lose every game. It doesn't matter who's going to be the full guy on the sidelines. These players need to start taking accountability. And how do they do that?
By getting their head out their arses and actually having a bit of personal pride about them and trying on the football pitch, show a bit of aggression, show a willingness to fight for those second balls, show a willingness to dig in for the team. You know what I mean? Don't just get so beaten so easily. Don't just randomly just kick the ball out of play every 5 minutes. Pass to a player on your team. Don't keep giving the ball away every second. Like, we're not asking them to become prime Man City and ticky-tack around the whole team and win 5-0. All we're asking for is the fundamentals of being a football player, which they grew up with every single week, training so hard to get to this position. And they're in this position now in a relegation battle and now showing this side of them, which is ugly, so ugly from each and every individual that is involved in the situation that we're in right now. It really is embarrassing on everyone's part. And we're the muggy fans that have to go there week in, week out, sing our hearts out for these players and get nothing in return. Literally, I was there in the away end yesterday for 90 minutes. I sang my heart out in hope that Spurs are going to return the favour at some point. What did I get? I got 5 minutes, thanks to Matisse Tell and Richarlison. That's all I got. And we should have conceded 6 or 7 goals yesterday. The whole club is an absolute shambles. It's rotten to the core. The ownership, Vinay and Lange, the manager situation, the player situation, every single part of this club is absolutely rotten to the core, and they're going to send us down. They really are going to send us down. And that is all with the fingerprints that Daniel Levy has left on this football club. Okay. So if they don't wake up, and they don't wake up pretty soon, I'm telling you, we're going to be going down. Because there are teams that everyone is better than us right now. Everyone.
100%. 100%. We are, honestly, right now, if I was a betting man, I would have my money on Tottenham. And I am a betting man. So I would have my money on Tottenham. No, I don't.
Don't you dare.
Don't you dare. But I'm telling you, I think the good money is on Tottenham right now to go down. They're playing the worst out of everyone, and they're not out of it at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think, on this evidence, I'm not seeing anything to suggest we're staying up. And people saying the only thing we can rely on, which is probably true, is West Ham and Forest being worse. But they're not worse. They will get points. There's another 10 games to go. They are going to get some wins. They're going to get some points on the board. I'm certain of it. I don't think we can rely on them being awful, because they're not. They've shown that they're capable of getting some results. We haven't. 2 wins in 19 now. It's now 19 games. That's half a season.
Yeah.
Half a season. And that's 2 wins.
I think I read somewhere it's like 64 days since we last won a game or something crazy like
It was
that.
Palace. The last time we beat was Palace.
And we got them coming again
And we
now.
got them coming again, second time round.
It's just mad, the situation that we're in. It really is. I never, ever thought ever, you know? Can you imagine when we're in Pochettino times, Redknapp times, Martin Yole times, all these, even Mourinho, Conte, you know, when it was bad under them. You always thought, never in anyone in a million years did we ever think about relegation. And now we're sitting here talking about relegation. Like
As a
relegation,
reality.
you know what I mean? As a proper reality. That's the sad state of affairs of this football club, man.
I saw David Ornstein did a tweet as well, confirming everyone, most players in the squad do have a relegation clause, cutting their wage of up to 50% if we are to go down.
Yeah. Well, Conor Gallagher will still be in a nice hefty wage of 100 grand a week if we go down.
It's actually nuts that he's our highest paid player.
It's completely nuts. It's completely nuts. How? How does that happen? They talk about wanting to improve the wage structure and raise the levels of it. But does that mean you have to put Conor Gallagher on 200 grand a week?
You know what's
Like,
funny? If we
seriously.
would just not signed him and kept Brennan, our team probably has better balance yesterday.
Yeah. Brennan's starting to pick up a bit now as well. 2 assists in his last
He's
2 games.
guaranteed to score.
Oh,
He
100%.
is guaranteed to score.
100%.
We're just... It's just nuts. What have we done? What have we done? What have they done to this football club? It's beggars belief. The squad planning, the recruitment, the decision making. And you know what? Fans have been saying this for years and years and years. How often have people come back and said, "Oh, you're ungrateful. You just don't know what you've got." They've been all these excuses for them. Fans have been complaining about the decision making of this football club for many, many, many years, and it's fallen off deaf ears. A lot of people saying that, what do you expect? You're Tottenham Hotspur, but now look where it's led us. We're right here. All these decisions, every single one, has led us to this exact point where some fans, I didn't think it would get this bad, but some fans have been warning that, it could one day get this bad. And I think fans have been ahead of the curve on this one when it comes to these complaints on how bad it could get.
Massively. And we all said, it's going to take a long time to get over Harry Kane and Son Heung-min leaving the club. And when people were saying that, I guarantee you they didn't mean Spurs will be in a relegation battle after Sonny and Kane. They thought, all right, fine, at very worst, we'll be out of Europe for a couple of years, something like that, at the very worst. But no, we're sitting here first. This is the first full season without either Kane or Son. And it looks as though we're going down.
It just goes to show as well how much of maybe what success we did have was probably just a lot of it down to luck rather than these decision makings that we've had. Because whenever it's been down to the decisions that the club has made, it's always turned out to blow up in their faces every time.
Yeah. It's just so sad. It really is so sad what this club has become and what it's continuing to do. And there's no one. There's no beacon of light, is there? There's no beacon of light who say that even when players come back, like they're coming back into such a shit situation.
And are they fully fit and all these different
But
things?
even if they're not, so what? So what? Mohamed Kudus comes back early April. You think he's the answer to all our problems? If he's got 10 other players that couldn't give a shit around him, what's he supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, these players could not give a shit what is happening right now. So when that happens, there is no avenue for any sort of way out of this. You need players to be fighting for the cause. So players coming back don't mean anything. Tell needs to start every game because at least he shows that he wants to do something. He wants to better his career. He wants to move his career forward. Even if he doesn't want to be he wanted to leave in January. You know, he was the one that was saying, you know what, get me a move. You know, the manager's not respecting me. I'm not playing my football. All he wants to do is play football. The poor kid. And every time he gets on the pitch, he shows a bit of effort and desire. And yeah, we can talk about quality this, quality that. Like, he's got the most quality out of everyone on the pitch because he shows a bit of effort and desire. Richarlison shows effort and desire. Yeah, fine, his quality might not be the best, but we need players on that pitch that show that effort and desire. And then we can worry about the quality a bit later on. All we need is effort right now.
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. It's just depressing.
There are no good answers here, it just feels. There are no good answers.
No.
About how to get out of this. And it just seems to be heading in one direction. That's the truth. I can't sit here and say we will be safe. Like, what I'm seeing, there's a good chance we will not be safe.
Yeah, I just hate it when someone says to me like, "Oh no, you'll be fine, you'll be fine."
Like, what evidence?
Exactly. It's like the only reason people say we'll be fine is because we're called Tottenham Hotspur. They can't envisage Tottenham are going down, or they're not like fully focused on the situation and watching us week in, week out. If you watch Tottenham week in, week out, and you know they were on a completely blank kit, you couldn't see their Tottenham, you would say this is relegation fodder right here.
100%. There is, at the moment, there's no evidence to suggest that we are going to be the one safe at the end of this. In fact, the opposite's to the contrary.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we are the ones going down.
Yeah.
I know we're not in the relegation zone. I know it's still 4 points, but we are the worst team in the league right now. And there's nothing suggesting it's going to turn. And this is what I was saying. Like, yes, I know we sacked Frank, and that was the right thing to do. But I remember saying on the day, like, it's a weird feeling because we've sacked him and you know he needed to go, but it wasn't like, okay, he sacked him so everything's good now. It's like we're still screwed. Like, even with him gone, we're still going to be screwed. Yes, he was a problem, but nothing's changed just because he's gone. We're now in a situation we need to find an interim. We're now in a situation we need someone to pull us out the ship because we're playing awfully every single week, and need someone to completely switch that up. And they left it way too late to sack Frank. And this is what we mean when we say left it too late. Because now we're right in the thick of a relegation battle. And we are now in desperation. We didn't have to leave it so long that we're desperate. Now the players are not only battling against injury. I think there's so much going on in that dressing room when it comes to physically drained, mentally drained as well. The pressure that's being put on them, they can't seem to get themselves out of it at the moment. You've got the manager trying things. He's playing Javi and Gallagher on the wing, and Gray at left back, and he's starting the first game in a 3-4-5-2, and the next game he's playing in a 4-4-2, and he's trying to work out what worked for his team, and he's seeing now the problems that we've got, and he doesn't have a lot of time to change it. If we brought him in 2 months ago, maybe it'll be shit for a month, or maybe he could have turned it around. But now we can't give him a month to get it right. You know what I mean? We need now, like immediately, and that's because we've left it so long. You know, I was watching this video from 442. He did a big analysis on how changing manager affects league positions and points. He found the conclusion was the later you leave it to change your manager when you know it's going wrong, like the more shit you leave yourself in. The earlier you change it, that's like the better your points are going to be, because even if they don't get it immediately right, the odds are if you give it enough time, they will start to get it right, the new manager. Whereas if you leave it too long, if you only give your manager 10 games, it rarely works. They rarely turn it around. But if you give them like 6 months, then they do start to turn it around. And we've given Tudor 12 games, and yes, it's unfair to judge him now, but this is what we are judging him on, because it's all we have. He's not going to be here next year, so it's now or never for him.
I mean, do we go bring in a Sean Dyche? That's where we're at right now, right? We need a firefighter. We need someone that can get us out the shit. Tudor doesn't know the Premier League, and that was one of the things maybe we overlooked when we did hire him. He's he's looking like a lost cause right now in his press conferences and stuff, Igor Tudor. I hope he can turn it around, and I hope that we can somehow, by hook or by crook, get 2 or 3 wins from now to the end of the season, and we can retain that Premier League status. But it's not looking good right now, guys. It's really not. So I don't know the way that we're going, and it is just such a depressing state of affairs. Like, I can't tell you how demoralizing and how depressing it is watching this team week in, week out, having all the hopes in the morning of every game, be like, oh, today's the day that it could potentially change. Today's the day that we'll finally pick up some points. And then you watch the first 10 minutes and then you just realize, why was I even thinking like that? It's just the deluded hope and optimism that you get before every single game. Like, do you remember the morning of the North London derby, or the week leading up to the North London derby? You know, how many confident Spurs fans was there on the high road before we played Arsenal?
There was nothing left to say but pure delusion.
It was pure delusion.
It was mass psychosis.
Like, I've never seen anything like it. Like, I predicted 2-2, right? But even I didn't actually believe that. It was just pure, just blind hope, like praying that something could happen.
Lord
Yesterday,
surely something will go for us, like some sort of positive.
Yesterday as well, like a lot of fans were coming into it being like, you know what, we're going to get a draw here. And every person that said to me we're going to get a draw, I told them straight up, you're deluded. There's no chance we get anything out of this game. And then 5 minutes in, I knew we were never getting anything out of that game. You predicted a draw this game. I was like, there is no chance, man. We go to Craven Cottage and win. No chance. But I have said all week that we're going to get a win at Crystal Palace, but now we're not. We're not. If we play like that, there is no chance of a win. No chance.
Honestly, I don't see where we're winning. I just don't see anything. And if we don't win another game from now to the rest of the season, we will be in the Championship, guaranteed.
And I heard that chat with you and Stelios about him wanting to get relegated and all that kind of stuff. And I get his point. I really do. But I can't get behind that, man. I cannot get behind wanting your team to get relegated. That is,
I think it's insane. Yeah.
I think that is madness. That is absolute madness. And I get the thinking behind it, but I cannot get behind that.
Yeah, the problem is, I think the problem with his theory is, he says if we go down, it forces ENIC to prioritise football because they have to get back up. And so they all have to put a plan in place. But who trusts them to put a plan in place? A good one.
Exactly.
Who trusts these lot?
Exactly.
I don't. I do not trust them. So I do not trust them to get us back out of the division if we go down.
100%. 100%. The first dominoes that need to fall are Vinay and Lange. Vinay and Lange need to get the hell out of this football club. They really do.
You know, I got no problem with that. The problem is, I don't trust ENIC to appoint anyone else. They appointed Vinay and Lange.
Yeah. The reality is, you know, we don't know the inning.
Here he is. He's in the comments. They won't have a choice, Sim.
They won't have a choice. They get it wrong every single time, no matter what the choice is. Their choices of putting football first will probably put us in League One.
Do you think it was their choice for us to be where we are? Do you think they want this? Of course they don't. They just don't know what they're fucking doing. They're incompetent. It's not. I don't think it's a case of they don't care that we're 17th. Of course they don't want us to be. They just don't know how to not make us 17th. They don't know. They don't know who to appoint. They don't know what to do. And I don't trust them to all of a sudden figure that out once we go down.
Yeah. So depressing. Get you on. Let us do what we need to do, and then maybe we can get you on at the end still. But look, that is the sad state of affairs at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's move on